What is up, everyone? So today is a big day. I say that all the time, but we always have big days down here because today we are doing the wiring on Brian's LS swap. Yeah, it's a big day.
Big day.
It is a big day, right? So we haven't shown much love on camera to Brian's car in a little while. Brian has just been banging this thing out on the side when he gets some time, and he's doing a really, really good job. He's been killing it. It is like the most OEM looking LS swap I've ever seen in an E46.
Yeah, honestly, I get it. I know a lot of you guys wanted to see a lot of the progress, but in all honesty, I have been working every single day on this, and for Jimmy to just put in 3 minutes per video would kind of be weird. So
it would be cool. It would be cool. You know what it is? It's like Brian has like his brainstorming sessions, and then we'll just like randomly bang it out.
Yeah, and then, you know, finish the system, on to the next one, and I don't really talk to anybody. I just get shit done.
So today is probably the last major part of the entire build. He has almost every other system done, so now it's time to get this harness on, get the ECU in, do a tune, and do our thing.
That's it. I mean, aside from the exhaust and like the starter, literally everything's put together. Also the front bumper. But really, the whole car's put together. All we gotta do is plug it in.
Yeah.
Base map thingies. Tuning thingies.
Yeah.
And then a couple little.
Easier said than done, but you know what? This should be pretty easy because, of course, guys, as you know, we are big fans of the wiring, especially these products down here. You've seen this box quite a bit.
Yeah, plenty of times on this channel.
I think almost every car in here has a wiring specialty harness, besides maybe like the BMWs. I think that's about it. Almost every other car does. So right here we have our Gen 4 LS swap harness into the E46 chassis, utilizing a Link Extreme, because you guys know Link is, you know, that's it around here.
Link's the plug around here, baby.
That's it. So you guys have seen me talk about these harnesses a bunch of times. They are fully loomed up. They're all labeled using beautiful connectors. We have done the B-roll videos on these over and over again. They're beautiful harnesses. They do all the thinking for us. They here, you take this.
All right. Yeah,
check this out. We're trying to show them off. So the way they do it is they kind of make these harnesses modular, right? So they'll take an LS harness and they'll have an interface right here, all right? And what this does, this allows them to be like, oh, this is going in an E46. Grab the E46 interface, plugs into the chassis, click it into the harness, and we now have an E46 LS swap harness.
Yeah, E46 kind of a pain. You got your CAN controller.
So a lot of the chassis functions on the car are controlled by CAN. So this is basically a rev CAN box right here by Wiring Specialties. Allows to convert the signal into a CAN signal that the chassis could use. Yeah, cool, right? And then on top of that, they actually utilize a fuse box in the harness. So we have a fan relays in here, a relay for the AC, fuel pump, and the ignition relay, which is really nice because I hate running fan controllers. Super tedious. They do it for us. So now all I have to do is program where the fans turn on in the ECU, plug the fan in, and it works. Love that. I had them add some extra sensors, like we put a fuel pressure sensor in here, we did an oil pressure sensor, we did an intake air temperature sensor, a couple other things, but besides that, his setup is pretty stock in terms of sensors. It should be pretty quick on just plugging this all in just like factory. This is all the engine components, this is all the chassis components. So we're gonna do the chassis last. So all of this has to kind of just,
we're working on that.
Yeah, this is the fun part. For now, right here, all we have to do is play the good old read and plug in. Let's just time lapse it. Nice and easy. Always a little bit of a trial and error process. You kind of have to plug some things in, unplug them, plug them back in, see how it all wants to route. And well, we got it figured out quite a bit. So little zip ties for some cable management, but it's all seating on the engine real nice. So the only issue we had was the cam angle sensor actually doesn't reach. It's just a little too short because Brian's alternator relocation bracket, as you can tell, it puts it pretty far out. One of the biggest problem with LS's is there's like 40 different ways you could run the accessories, depending on what car they go in, so it's kind of hard to get their length right. But I think we can put an extension on this and we should be fine. It doesn't have to go much lower. We're about, what, 3 inches short?
Yeah, it needs like 3 inches.
We have to hook up the power to the starter down below, but besides that, that is all plugged in. Now the chassis interface. So what we noticed before is it actually kind of works out better if half of the harness is on that side. like in that little bucket right there. But Brian put his expansion tank in there, so we can't really utilize that because there's gonna be way too much heat in there, which is fine. So the only thing that really needs to plug into the chassis is these 3 plugs, which is actually kind of cool. If that stuff wasn't there, we could literally shove all of this stuff over there and then just route this to this side. So if you're doing E46, just plan on using that side.
Yeah.
Easy use easy. We're gonna mount that right here with the factory mounting plate. Boom. Like, okay, this might all fit. This might all fit. Yeah, so this is bringing back to the point that if you can, put your stuff on that side. See? That'll do. What you doing down there, Bri?
Plugging in the crank sensor and the reverse switch.
Mm-hmm. We gotta put your starter in too.
Yup.
So we have to do your charging system, right? So we have a giant 12-volt cable that goes to the starter to our battery terminal, and then our battery terminal also has to go to the alternator. But while you're down there, hook this up to your starter, buddy.
Hey, what are you? You're dangerous.
See, the BMWs are so nice because they're factory battery in the trunk, so definitely ahead of the curve. Look at that. Well, it looks like we might have a problem. Bring out the power tools, huh?
Oh yeah.
Brian's saying that the starter isn't accessible somehow. What's the deal here?
I think it's that knob right there.
Oh, is this it?
I think Johnny said
That's in. No. Johnny said to take that off for another reason, but
he didn't.
I can't plug the starter in because the fucking thing goes right there. So I have to plug it in ahead of time, and if you plug it in ahead of time, then you can't put it in. Hopefully, I don't destroy the crank sensor.
No. Now you can see where it's breaking.
You're making me nervous.
There we go. Here we go.
Oh
Here we go.
God.
Look at this.
There's a hole in my block up here.
Look at this. Look at that. Hot. That was hot. But look at that. It's gone, Brian. All right, let's see if the starter will fit. As you guys can see, the terminals are on the top of the starter, which is extremely difficult to access once it's in. We'll have that design.
Well, the motor mount's right here, and the dipstick's right there, and they all go behind it. So.
Well, look at that plug. This is the plug. This is the engine mount and the dipstick.
Thank God the plug
so
is
close.
If that plug was any longer, I'd be screwed. The plug is like that long. Thank goodness.
Now we can throw the whole exhaust on since the starter is in, but before we do so, we should make sure it cranks.
Okay.
After we add a engine ground or two. One BMW. Oh, where's my battery? Maybe this BMW. Where's all the batteries? Got any juice in this crusty battery? Oh! There's juice in that bitch.
Nothing.
Doesn't crank?
Nope.
Huh. Clutch switch?
Yeah, I did that.
How's the clutch feel?
It's there.
A few moments later.
Alright, I got this. You ready? Camera died, but I made it crank. I'm good at finagling. So the problem is we have like this sub harness right here that, as you can tell, is cut up. When we did the MS45 swap with the M54 in here, to chop up one of his sub harnesses, and it seems like since we have it pinned for a 328, which then we converted it to a 330, we got some connections confused, but I think I could rig something up in the meantime. If not, we just have to get another 328 sub harness, or also known as the oxygen sensor harness, which is pretty
I think we have enough to make what we need.
Give me like 10 minutes, I'll figure this out. All right, good thing we have a bunch of factory BMW connectors laying around. I'm gonna make a jumper harness, I'll make this work. Let's see, so this one. Cool. Factory fresh. We'll get us going in the meantime.
Holy jumper.
Take this, pin it back in, click it down, and there we go. Starter jumper. Put that in. Plug this interface in that we don't have anymore. Survey says. Ant, tell me I'm nice.
He knows what he's doing.
That'll do in the meantime.
Hit it again, Bryce.
Hit it again. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Breaking in them rings.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Tomorrow, because it's getting kind of late, we're gonna plug the ECU in, I'll put up a base map, and I have to wire in a CAN lambda, and then we'll try and start it. Sound good?
Too good. I'm sure many of you guys understand how I feel right now. It's a complete 50-50 mixture of excitement and nerves.
Tell me,
because
I'm
we
in
all
there.
know anything can happen at any time, and I might have to start all over, but fingers crossed.
No.
She's good to go.
This is a JP Travis engine.
Nothing against that. I mean,
I know,
I could have
anything can
fucked
happen.
anything up. Anything could happen. I could have
All right.
dropped the socket down there.
The wiring might look pretty crazy right now. Don't take that out on the harness itself. It's literally us just missing components down there. So we'll get this tidied up after I make sure everything is operating correctly. But for now, let's leave this exposed and see you guys tomorrow. And we're back. So we have some more things to do before we can even try and start this. Called the boys at Wiring Specialties. We found out that we had it pinned for a late model chassis when Brian's car is an early model chassis, and that's why the two connectors won't plug in. But I have some stuff rigged up that I think will get this thing going for today. So the last piece of hardware that we really need until we could try and plug the ECU and do all that is we have to get a wideband sensor in here. We need something to read the AFRs. So what we're using for a wideband controller is the Link CAN Lambda system right here, right? So you just can't plug a wideband sensor in and it reads. You need a whole controller to basically heat up the oxygen sensor and to decipher the signal for the ECU. So the way this works is the module communicates this signal through CAN bus, right? If you don't know what CAN bus is, I'm not gonna sit here and explain it. It would just take too long. But basically it's a way for the ECU and sensors to communicate. Easy enough, right? What's nice is the system's nice and petite, has a plug for the 4.9 Bosch sensor and the plug to actually wire this in, and it comes with the 4.9 Bosch sensor in the package already. We have this going into the Y pipe. So the boys down at Wiring Specialties made this really easy for me, and I'm super grateful for this. So they gave me this little sub harness right here, right? And it has all the wires that we're going to need to actually just wire this thing in. So we have a ground and a switch 12 volt, which is gonna basically power the unit, which will heat up the oxygen sensor, right? Because they have to be at a certain temp. Then we have the CAN high and the CAN low, which is basically how the signals communicate. Oh no, I'm almost out of red. There we go. Come on, give me some juice. There you go. Bry's on his lunch break.
Exhaust going on? Yeah.
Oh, look at that crossover.
We're getting there.
That thing's so hot, dude. But it's not gonna be hot because you got it wrapped up so damn good.
Oh yeah.
It's still gonna be hot.
You know what? He's got a little resonator and he's got a muffler, so maybe it won't be too bad.
We hope.
That's so cool. So as I put the exhaust in, I just finished up the harness for the CAN Lambda stuff. Loomed it up all nice just to match the rest of it. So this will plug into the CAN Lambda module, the thing that looks like that. Then this will plug into the existing harness, which goes to the ECU. And the wideband sensor goes right here. All right, so we have the Link Extreme plugged in right now. It's a huge mess up there, and we're about to set up the ECU for the very first time. It's a full standalone, so what we're gonna do is we are going to upload a base calibration for like an LS3, so we have the right trigger settings in here and like the right firing order and stuff. All the general stuff is all there. Then Wiring Specialties gives me this I/O sheet right here, which is really nice, and it tells me where they define all the inputs and outputs, like where they put the map sensor signal, the fuel pump signal, you know, the fan relay controls. So I'm gonna go through the ECU and define where everything is and define what kind of sensor it is, and that will basically set up the base map. So we're going through this, and one thing I've never done before is actually set up an E-throttle setup in a car, which is pretty cool. So Brian converted to a 330 electronic gas pedal, and he has an LS3 electronic throttle body. And give it gas. How cool is that? That is so cool. So I'm excited to play with the electronic throttle body because since the ECU is in full control of it, it's not mechanically in control, you can actually make it do some pretty cool things, and we'll play around with it on the dyno. But for now, I'm just so happy this works. Do it again. Should we try and start it or wait for Brian?
Let's start it.
Okay. Let's try it, right?
I mean, you got nothing to lose, except a lot. Except Brian's whole car.
No, it's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna back up.
Why are you scared? The last person has to be scared. Nope.
What are you looking at me for, Ant? Don't look at me. I'm just a bystander.
He needs the thumbs up from you.
All right, try and start it.
All right, it's not a carburetor. Just hold the throttle at like 10%.
10%
Like I know what that is.
throttle.
Just making sure this thing runs, so when Brian shows up, it's a good time, all right?
Should I save the excitement for when Brian's here?
Full throttle.
Throttle.
Oh, she wants it. She wants it.
Keep it running. It's not the
All right.
throttle. I can see your fucking leg
Derek's
moving.
taking over throttle, I
I can
guess.
see the floorboard flexing.
So it's not Helen Keller.
It's a tight seat.
Bucket.
That's a 30 weight.
Dude, this thing is stupid.
It's a bucket seat.
I'm not even sure. It sounds a lot better. Sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. Oh my god. That sounds so sick.
Sounds good.
Wow.
It runs.
It runs. It runs. A quick little miss on startup, but it sounds great. That exhaust sounds really good. Now the engine's a little noisy. It takes a while for these to build oil pressure, so that'll definitely quiet up.
There's oil in it, right?
There's oil in it. Yeah, good question. Now when Brian shows up, we could just start it and he'll be happy coming off of work like that.
That's it.
Sunlight.
Just another day.
It's all on the throttle. Clearly
Nice
Ant wasn't
throttle.
cutting it.
Yeah, we got Helen Keller over
I don't know
here.
if it was in the throttle.
I didn't do anything different. I didn't turn the key harder.
You didn't do anything different, so I wasn't doing anything wrong.
I mean, your throttle control, I saw it. RJ would think that was funny.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether you like it or not, Ant is the funniest one in the shop.
Oh, I don't mind.
So we have to get this thing actually filled up with coolant, get the van hooked up, and get this thing to idle at operating temp for quite a while, let everything situate, let all the rings seat, all the bearings be happy. Then we'll change the oil and get it moving around. But we have some wires to clean up, that's for sure. So I'm gonna start working on the fan control stuff, but for now, probably gonna wait on camera to film until Brian gets off of work so you can see his big smile, because I know he's gonna be very relieved when he sees this thing start right up.
Nice thing for Brian to get out of work, because when Brian gets out of work, he's
Crabby.
He's tired, he's crabby. So I'm hoping we get.
That's why I wanted to make sure it ran before you got off
Yeah,
of work.
no, I see you for that, for sure.
All right, Brian is here. We got it filled up with coolant, got the E-fans working. We should be able to have this thing idle so we can have this thing set at operating temp, let this motor see everything it's got to see, and get it ready to do its first oil change.
Yeah.
Okay, start it up. I think it sounds so clean, doesn't it? You've heard. I like how it's not super loud.
It's really quiet at idle, but the second he does that, it's ridiculous. It's like really airy and quiet and like chill. And a little bit. Oh, that's ridiculous. That's so sick. But just a little more. That's good. That's good.
Oh my god, keep it running, keep it running.
That sounds so sick, dude. When it comes down off throttle,
It sounds like a race car.
thank you, JP. That's good. That's really good.
Man, the engine sounds awesome. The exhaust sounds so freaking cool. I'm very happy with that. You never know with these motors if they're gonna be screaming or not, and that sounds super tame. So we're gonna clean up this mess we just made, and I think it's time to change the oil. It's been at operating temp now for a couple minutes. That'll get like the first oil change of anything that might be in the engine from just quick wear.
That was the cleansing oil. So that was
Exactly,
all the
that's the best way to
machining,
put it.
dirtiness, all that stuff. All this oil was in for 3 minutes for just this. And we're gonna drain it while it's hot. Hopefully catch any remaining machining stuff.
JP loves that gas station chicken. He might have got some of those crumbs in there.
And then we're gonna put in the $100 break-in oil and make sure the cam gets broken in right and the ring seat and everything's happy.
So far, this thing sounds freaking cool. One day I will get one of those lift oil drain things.
Yeah, it'll be in like 2 weeks. This was some cheap fucking oil. That's what JP told me to get. He said the first shit, just get the cheapest shit they got.
Love that. I'm gonna give you the pass one time on that funnel, all right?
Yeah. All right. Well then, Ant.
Dude, the chop at low idle is so good.
Ah, that is so good.
How good is that?
Yeah.
BFD, baby. That Texas speed BFD.
Dude, it's like we're at fucking Monster Jam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One more time.
Dude, that is so hard.
Yes.
Okay, I want to hear one more time. One more time.
That denim sounds like a monster truck.
Yo, shout out to everyone that said stock manifolds would sound like shit.
This sounds sick.
Yeah.
This shit sounds so happy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm incredibly happy and excited that it's running. Sounds healthy, sounds happy. We got a lot more buttoning up to do, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
It sounds too good.
Sounds too good.
Like, I thought it was gonna be loud and shit, but it's not.
It's not.
It's good.
It's good. There she is. There she is. So we've had this thing probably idling for like, I'd say it's been over 30 minutes. Man, we got a lot to do. We talked about it, but for now the motor sounds great. I couldn't be happier, honestly.
Like I said, we definitely have some more stuff to button up. Obviously, the ECU is not going to be sitting on top of the strut tower.
That's a fact.
When I'm driving it down the track, I mean, what do we got? 3 weeks till the next event?
Enough time.
Enough time to shake it down, button it up, and buy some tires.
So guys, there you go. The JP and Travis engine built. We got the Link ECU and hardware. We got the wiring specialties harness, and we of course have the Texas Speed BFD and all the supporting components for that cam. So it sounds bitchin'. I'm excited for it, and this thing should rage. So I'm gonna end it there. So you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. And Bri,
Have a great night. Peace.